Didn't we win water skis one year, Glenn?
We won water skis. We won water skis. There's a prize we didn't think of.
Water skis during curling.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Curling Nation episode 14, the Wild Card Experience. Today we're gonna have a great time talking with Wayne and Glenn. Wayne Middaugh, Glenn Howard, two legends of the game.
Absolutely.
They've been Glenn's been winning games for like 40 years. And
yeah, probably longer than I've been alive, maybe.
Yeah. Thanks to Alchemy, alqimi.com for their support. Contact them for all your IT, healthcare. They do artificial intelligence.
They do a lot of
computer
stuff that I probably don't understand, and we should probably do a better job of giving them some run. But if you go to their website, you could learn more than we're going to be able to tell you.
alqimi.com. They support us. They support other curling things. So check them out. As you can see, we made Caesars with Wayne and Glenn. So tune in for how to make a proper one from Wayne. Wayne
is the Caesar connoisseur, and he gives us a tutorial.
He knows what he's doing.
We should probably let the cat out of the bag that we don't always do the intro like before we have people on. So like we're doing this after we had the interview, but it's pretty dope interview. So check that out. You're not gonna be disappointed.
It goes a little long because we just had fun. So whatever. Updates. There's a Wausau curling bubble.
It finally happened.
We
finally got our ducks in a row.
U.S. mixed doubles.
Mixed doubles first.
Men's and women's nationals, which don't go anywhere, but you get points for. I actually just listened to the Inside Curling podcast with, and they had Schuster on, and he said he did emphasize that the nationals was important because. First and second place get automatic berths to the trials, provided that they're not already there. But berths, if somebody, if Violet could get second place or Senate or I don't even know who's going to be there if they're just I don't even know how you get there or whatever. But there's the potential that somebody could win their way into the trials. Yeah.
So that is important.
It's important.
Yeah.
Also, they announced Mixed Doubles Worlds is going to be in Scotland. They're going to give it a go over there, so good for them. And Women's Worlds is going to come up soon in the bubble, so good luck to Tabs and Company out of the U.S.
Yeah. Tabs gets to go to the bubble, and then she'll get to go to Scotland, and then she gets to go to Wausau.
That's something. All right, but now
I bet Wausau is the highlight of that trip.
I bet Wausau, right? It's got to be. Yeah. I've heard the hotel rooms up there are just fantastic.
They have Rib Mountain.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to Wayne and Glenn.
Let's get Wayne and Glenn. All right. Yeah. Well, we got a great couple of guests today. We got a real banger. They probably need no introduction, but I'm going to do my best anyway. One guy has won the Brier 3 times and won the Worlds 3 times. The other guy's got 4 Briers and 4 Worlds. One guy was kind of a big deal this year. I hear he's a decent golfer, and he's really been dragging down the looks on Team Hasselborg for a few years. The other guy had to curl with Joel and Garrett in a charity spiel. God bless him. He's a good Samaritan, too, and curls with his kid. More importantly, he's a retired beer store owner. So welcome to the show, Wayne Middaugh and Glenn Howard. How's it going, guys?
Going great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure.
You bet.
Curl Nation.
Absolutely. So most importantly on this show, we like to have some beverages. And I understand that Wayne is a connoisseur of the Caesars. So we have Caesar stuff here tonight. Wayne, I need you to give us a little bit of a tutorial on how we should properly make a Caesar. Can you do that?
I sure can.
Yes.
It's funny as I can just barely see the tops of what you have there, but tonight I did use a little Tito's handmade vodka. The exact
All right.
same as what you have there.
Well, let me
doing-
point this camera down.
Here,
down
we
a
can
little
point it
bit.
down. Okay. Yep. There we
Okay.
go.
Oh, wow.
All right.
You got a
There we go.
remote?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fancy.
Yeah, this is
high,
fancy stuff here now.
high budget today.
So I need a little bit.
We
of
need
ice.
some ice.
You've got the hard, some nice sized glasses there.
Yeah.
The first thing you need to do is you got a lime or a lemon. Where's your lemon?
Yep, we got a lime.
We got limes.
Lime. Okay. Lime. I don't agree with the lime for the Caesar. It should be lemon, but do what you can.
This is
Oh,
American
just
lime,
need-
so.
You got to rim your glass. Yep.
Okay.
You got to rim it. We need the rimmer on there.
okay.
Yeah, he
Do
said
the
rim.
Yeah. All right.
The rim job.
Got a good rim.
Give it
Got a good rim job going on here. Yep.
And we digress.
Okay.
Wait, oh,
Yep.
wait.
Yep. All right. Now what, Wayne?
Rimmer. Lots of rimmer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now you got to do your. We got some celery salt. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
The result.
All right. Do that. There you go. Yeah. Now you got it. All right.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
It's our results.
Lots of ice. Fill her up with ice next.
Okay. We
Ice.
got the ice in the shaker. How's that?
Okay, do a shaker or do I go right in the glass?
Right in the glass.
Right in the glass.
Right in the glass. All right. Right in the glass.
Right.
Mikey, show that ice bucket.
Okay.
Show
Oh,
what that
we
ice
got it.
bucket.
Yeah.
We got the.
Yeah, we
curling.
got the
A little
printout.
curling stone.
Yeah, we got the
Yeah, go a
curling
little
stone.
down.
Ice
Yep.
bucket
Nice.
here.
Nothing but the best around here, boys.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
My parents used
Tito's.
to have one of those, but I think I threw it as
Tito-
a curling rock.
I got a yellow and blue one here
Empty or
too. So.
full, Wayne? Was it
Tito's
empty or
first
full?
or Clamato first?
Tito's first, over
Tito's
ice.
first.
You got to have the Tito's over ice.
Okay. All right.
Pour is good.
Is-
If I saw you measuring, I would hang up right now.
Okay. No. We're from Wisconsin. We don't measure anything.
We don't measure things.
There you go.
No.
Booze,
Here,
booze,
all
and a
right.
splash of
All
spray
right.
on
So
top.
mix
You need
it.
that. No. Tomatoes
No.
last.
Come on,
Tomatoes last.
Now what?
hot sauce?
We need
Huh?
Tabasco and Worcestershire.
Oh, we don't have any Worcestershire.
Oh.
We got hot sauce though. Sorry.
Worcestershire is upstairs. I'll be
All
back.
right, hold on. All right, we'll talk about something. We have some stirring sticks. We have some beef sticks. Is that a good stirrer? Joel also makes his own bacon, so we have some bacon to stir our Caesars.
Oh yeah,
So I feel like that's if you've
I
not
use
had
Matt and Steve's spicy beans.
Matt and
Nice.
Steve's spicy beans. I don't know if we can get those, but I don't
right.
eat vegetables, so we stir ours with meat. All right.
Bacon's good. I like the bacon.
The bacon is
Bacon's
delicious.
a good choice, always.
You probably need, for a Wayne Caesar, you probably need a solid 15 to 20 drops of Worcestershire.
Whoa.
Ooh.
All
Likes
right.
it hot.
Like
Uh,
some,
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
Worcestershire.
Very
There you go.
Worcestershire forward.
That was a
Caesar.
liberal amount. And then hot sauce?
Yeah, and
Then
then
hot
and then
sauce.
probably 10 drops of that of hot sauce.
Whoa.
There you go.
Yep.
All right.
This is good hot sauce. It's Louisiana Cajun hot sauce, so it's gonna
Okay,
be
I have no. That's like I'm a Tabasco guy, but
yeah.
All right.
and then you put your in the nicest way you put your meat in there, whatever your meat is. Your,
Rimming it and you put your meat in.
Just ram
Meat in there.
your meat in there, Joel.
Yep.
Just
Oh,
insert
wait.
some
Oh.
meat.
And bacon.
Piece of bacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
now your clamato.
Okay.
So you mixed up your vodka, your Worcester, and your stuff there, and then your
Then
your
you're
clamato. Mix it up some more.
Okay.
Make sure you shake that clamato too, because all the
All the good
crap
stuff's at the
bottom.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Shake it up good. Good job,
All
Joel.
the crab brains are at the bottom if you don't shake it.
Yeah.
All the crab shits down below. So. All
How do
right.
we do? Pretty good.
There you go.
I'll
You
let
got
know.
yourself a Caesar.
All right.
You got yourself a Caesar there.
It's perfect.
How did we
Swirl
get
around a
the?
bit.
You know where the Caesar got its derivation and name, or?
I think it's from Calgary. I think it was made in Calgary is where it started. It's a Canadian drink.
Mm.
And
that's good.
I'm not sure why it became Caesar, but it's the Americans. You guys enjoy your Bloody Marys. We enjoy
Yeah.
our Bloody Caesar.
I like
All
it.
right.
That's good. All right. Perfect. All right. That's all
Yeah.
That's all we needed you guys
Yeah,
for.
thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for
That was
coming.
it.
All right.
Hopefully you come on again sometime.
Glenn, you were great.
No, unbelievable. That's why I said this was going to be the best episode.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm the star.
You just need you for your pretty face. That's it. That's all we needed you for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had you on obviously. A couple weeks ago. You guys were a big deal. I mean, I think everybody enjoyed watching you guys at the Brier. I mean, my buddies and I had like a little Brier draft, and we had to pick the team winner. And I didn't pick you guys, but I gotta say, about 3 draws in, I started cheering for you guys because Wayne's story was, great. It was awesome. How long had you been off, Wayne?
5 years. I hadn't curled it. Hadn't
5
thrown.
years.
5 years. Big. Glenn knows. Glenn's been with me through the whole thing, obviously.
Not even
Right.
a rock for fun here and there.
I threw rocks, not very many.
Yeah.
Well, the first 2 years, you didn't throw a rock.
2 years I
First 2
didn't throw a
years
rock.
after the accident. Zero.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
And then the third year when I tried to throw, it was quite a contraption. I threw with like a crutch in front of me and the rock in front of that. It was it was quite something to see. It was literally like someone who had never thrown a rock before, it looked like. And maybe Glenn, I threw that year maybe 30 rocks, 40 rocks.
You probably played like we'd play Tuesday nights with our wives for 20 some years. And when he came, so we had a spare, obviously those years, and he'd come back once or twice a year. Like you threw maybe that third year, you probably played 2-3 games. If that, that's, what do you like, 30 rocks?
Yeah.
No practice rocks. That's it. And then like year 4, so year 4 is a couple of years ago, you played a little bit more. Even then it wasn't much. Right.
And then this year we cut our spare, which was Brent Lang's dad.
Yeah. Great time. True story.
Yeah. And then so I was going to play this year all year long, and I figured, okay, once a week I can make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden Glenn whips on me. Oh, by the way, I've pulled away Middaugh. I've done an accident and hurt myself, and I don't think I can curl.
Wow.
Do you want to try? Do you want to play in the Brier? And
True
honestly,
story.
guys, if it had been any other spiel, if it had been, nothing against anything else, but if it had been any other spiel and it had been any other person other than Glenn, I would have said no. For after what we went through, and on one side, it was a highlight of, of this year for me, of 2021, of COVID, of everything else. I couldn't imagine anything better in going with Glenn, but now that I look back on it and the fact that I'm quite comfortably not curling anymore, I realize what my body went through, and I'm not physically ready to be a full-time curler again.
Got it.
Yeah.
You're okay with your once a week mixed team. It was a decent mixed team, I guess, if you needed one.
Yeah, it is.
You got to put it in perspective. So you now know how much he curled in 4.5 years, which is virtually nothing. Mm-hmm. He broke his leg in 16 places. He's got a titanium rod in his leg, holding his leg together. And now the literal question was, Wayne, do you want to go to the Brier? But can you manage? And he couldn't answer it. He doesn't know. I didn't know. Can he play 2 games a day for 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row? He's only literally curled 1 game a week. So he said yes, and we got a hold of our curling club, and we actually threw probably only 3 times a week. That's all we wanted to kind of get Wayne going again. So we did that for about a month, 3 weeks to a month, and that's it. That's all he threw, and arguably was one of the best skips in the Brier this year. I don't think there was any question. It's an incredible story. Incredible story.
So a little background. How did you get injured?
I thought I was 18 instead of 48, and I was in the terrain park with my daughter who was on a snowboard. And the funny part, the story even goes a little better, is I snowboard as well. Not as good a snowboarder as I am skier. I've skied longer than I've curled. I've skied all over the world. I'm a half decent skier. And literally we had just qualified to make it to the men's provincial, and we're members of a ski club. So I ski a lot. And
so the
she
men's
said, well, let's go.
So sorry, the men's provincial skiing thing, or like
no,
men's
provincial is like Ontario curling,
yeah,
right?
That's what I thought.
5 years ago.
That's what I thought. But you said you're good at skiing. Like I don't know, how good you're at skiing too.
Good
like,
point.
No, not that good, but okay. I can ski anywhere in the world quite comfortably, or I used to be able to. And I got in the terrain park, and basically the funny part, like I said, we were leaving. She goes, "Are you going to snowboard with me? You're going to ski?" I said, "You know what? I'm going to ski because I don't want to hurt myself."
This is his daughter, by the way. I don't think you mentioned that. His daughter.
She was 13 at the time. So we go out and a normal night, like we go out at like 4 o'clock, we ski for a couple hours, have dinner, and then go out ski for another couple hours and come home because we are only 15 minutes from the lift.
Okay.
So we're pretty close to the place. And we get into the train park, which we've done 1,000 times, and I get on a 3-meter jump, which is like 9 feet in your world, 10 feet, 10-foot jump. And I get it a little sideways in the air, and I land sideways, and it's warm. It's like +5, which I guess is 40.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks for doing the conversions. We really appreciate it.
And I land sideways on the jump. My ski just stops. My left ski, which is my sliding leg, just stops dead and just snaps my leg clean in half.
Oh, man.
And then as I fell, it was twisting, and the brakes went across, and then the brakes went up and down the leg as well. So it was just pieces, just literally pieces of leg left.
Blackout, hopefully.
No, not until they tried to take my ski boot off.
Sounds horrible.
I tried to keep it together with my daughter, 13 years old. So I was trying to keep it together the whole time for her because she's literally like, "Dad, are you okay?" I'm like, "No, get help now."
No. No. Not even close to okay.
We should
I
laugh.
asked her, I said, "How does it look?" Because I'm laying on my back. My feet are kind of up the hill. I said, "How does it look?" She says, "Well, you're laying up and down, but your leg's going over here."
Oh, man.
No.
So
It's
bad
funny
is what
now,
you're
but,
saying.
I was just going to say, it probably wasn't funny then, but it's funny now.
Yeah.
Probably.
It-
Yeah. It's
It,
good that you can
it
laugh
was a
about
learning
it.
experience.
At least
Yeah.
it is to us anyway.
Do you ski anymore?
I haven't,
Haven't. Got it.
but
Okay.
I plan to maybe one day. I even if it's just once. I've kept all my equipment. I still have all my stuff. Maybe one day I'll go again. I as golfers, you'll understand this. I have the skiing yips. I
Sure.
literally go out to look at my skis now, and I'm like, no.
Just switch it with a snowboard, Wayne. Just switch it
No.
with a snowboard. Maybe you don't get the yips.
I can understand not wanting to go back out. That's admirable. Or
What hill was
understandable,
that?
I think-
should say.
Sorry.
What hill were you on?
Just right by my house, there's a place called Mount St. Louis, which is not a mountain at all. It's maybe, it's Big Hill, but it has 3 really good train parks in it. So we mostly go there and run the train parks all the time, and mostly because it's close to our house, 15 minutes from our house.
Got it.
Like I said, we used to be members there right until I broke my leg.
Fair.
Former
Fair.
members. I'm on the. I think I'm on the same career path with skiing. I hadn't skied. I skied a little bit when I was a kid, and then I basically didn't ski at all for 20 years because of curling. I didn't want to hurt myself. And then when the last Olympic trials went south, 2 Olympic trials. No, the last Olympic trials. When that went south, like on the ride home, I'm like shopping for skis on my phone, and now I go with my kids constantly, and so they're just a little like, if you were 48 at the time when you did that, I'm 43 now. My kid will be 13 when I'm 48, so I'm on the same trajectory. I'm gonna shatter the hell out of my legs in the terrain park in about 3 years, I think.
There you go. Stay out of the terrain parks.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Stay out of the
fun,
train
though,
park,
and
Stay
it's-
away from those 3-meter jumps.
Yeah.
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 Craig,
Right.
is that a picture of Erica Tetley over your left shoulder? You got up there in your wall?
Left shoulder, yeah, she's up here all over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's up there. I got some pictures of your former teammate.
That's where I was
with
going
a
with it.
cow.
I can say he's not up there, is he?
Yeah. He's up there from Grindelwald. He won with Ed and Pat and Kawaja, and my sister's team got 3rd place. So they're basically standing on the podium right next to each other. You know, and this is 15 years before they got married. They didn't even, know each other, and they're
Well, because
They
your
played
sister
in
would
this
have been about
Bonspiel.
18 at the time.
That's right.
yeah, maybe 20. But yeah, this is a long time ago. So, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna see if you had any funny, stupid stories about him, but then I don't know if we
God.
want to get into that.
Your
We have a
time-
good-
I mean, there's a lot of them.
Glenn has a good Grindelwald story.
Oh, a
Well-
sledding story in Grindelwald.
Well, the start of it is we were playing in the same spiel that well, not that year, but that everybody plays in. There's junior teams, mixed teams, blah, blah, blah. It's 93-ish, and we're the reigning world men's champions. And we're invited to this spiel,
Yep.
and we are the first team out of the bonch, eliminated.
Nice.
I think we played. It was a double knockout. We won, or did we lose 2 straight or something?
It was no, it was double knockout.
One?
We
Double knockout.
lost, win, loss.
Lost, win, loss.
Were you taking it not seriously, or just everybody
didn't
was
get the
gunning
Russ
for
to
you
the
because you were
end.
the world
Yeah, it
champions?
wasn't great. This is with Russ and myself, Wayne, and Pete Corner. And the ice wasn't very good and not great conducive for our style. Russ didn't throw very many hard takeouts, so he had a hard time getting it to the other end. But we'd done some luging down some mountains in Grindelwald, and
Yeah.
we were really excited to get back up the mountain. So I think we were taking that more seriously than the curling.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think we have a good
The
picture of you
sledding's
guys.
fantastic.
I think we have a good picture of you guys from then.
Look, it's like I want to know what is Pete Corner saying or thinking right now.
Zoom in on that, Joe, if you can. Put that up. Full,
No, I don't know if we
yeah.
can zoom in
Well,
on it, but
you're gonna have to
this
go full
this
screen.
made its rounds during the Brier. Do you guys have
Yeah.
these coats? Because I want one.
Yeah.
Oh
mean-
my God! Look at that! Look at
There's-
look at Wayne. He
They're
looks
so
12.
puffy.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
old? Do you know how old you were in that picture, Wayne?
20, I think.
20.
That would
Wow.
that would have been would that have been 89?
89,
89 maybe.
89, 67, yeah. 22, 21.
Who's
Nice.
the woman?
It was a model. Like they hired Gold Line hired her to come in. Listen, with those 4 idiots, they had to bring in somebody a little bit better look.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look,
She's probably
you
just
couldn't take
confused.
Pete,
Like,
you couldn't take Pete serious, and that's why you got his profile. You can't look at him straight on. So,
How long has it been since you've had a mustache, Glenn?
oh, here's a great Wayne. You got to tell this story. This is what year? What year, Wayne?
91,
91.
91.
So I grew a mustache in high school.
Right.
So in 91, that puts me around, what's that put me, 29, 30, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I had a mustache all through high school, right up to that, playing with these guys.
90.
90?
90, yeah, 90.
Oh.
91, we won 90.
Wayne tells the story the best. Go. It's a McCain Skins game. You guys know about the McCain Skins game back in the day? We used to.
no.
So the TSN Skins game was arguably the best. It's probably the best bond spiel, the best event we've ever curled in ever.
Okay.
Tons of money, and there was always these qualifying spiels, and they were called the McCain's Super Spiels. One
Okay.
was out east, one was out west. Half the country went east, half the country went west. If you won that spiel, double knockout, you got an invite to the TSN Skins game, or if you're the reigning Brier champ.
Yep.
Wayne was the other one,
And the reigning skins champ.
and the
The
reigning Skins.
reigning skins champ.
So if I remember the story correctly, we are out in. Did we win the Skins, then go back to the west?
No, this was 90. This was 1990, and we were in Florenceville.
Lawrenceville, New Brunswick, which it's no offense, guys. I'm not going to live there. Let's put it that way. Awesome people, but there's not much going on there. It's the middle of nowhere, out East Coast, whatever. So double knockout. If I'm not mistaken, we may have lost our first game, and now you have to rhyme off. I don't know, 6, 7 in a row, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne, being the good old, he would have been about 24 at the time. Him and his cousin Pete are, let's say they're mischievous. We could lose the game. We go back into the room when Russ is older than all of us, and Wayne goes, we need some incentive. We need an incentive. We need something good going. He says, you know what? And he's looking at me and he goes, if we win this thing and we win this thing and get the TSN, Glenn has to shave off his mustache.
Ooh.
And I go, guys, I've had this mustache for 20 years. Are you kidding me? You're going to make me take this? Wait, what are the odds? We got to win 6, 7 in a row.
Yeah.
What are the chances of us winning this thing and going to the Skins? Going to the Skins games on television, the whole 9 yards. So we're going along. We win 1, win 2, win 3. I think we're in the semifinals. We're playing. I look over at Wayne and he's going, oh my God. Win the semi, win the final. Nothing is said. Nothing is said. Nothing happens. I'm going, oh my God, I think he's forgotten. This is awesome. Few weeks, whatever it is later, we go to the Skins game. I don't know where it was this year. And it's literally the night before we go on. And Wayne comes in. He goes, we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. And honest to God, so I drew my word, shaved it off. And we go on to national television. And my wife, Judy, has no idea that I now have shaved off my mustache. And I believe it was Vic Router. Vic Router makes the comment, something like, Judy, you might notice something about your husband. He's not sporting a mustache at these days. And then I think he had a little blurb about it. So I think Wayne filled him in. But there's always a story. And you know what? All these little mischievous things, they never happen to Wayne. He always gets them to happen to other people. It isn't him. If it isn't me, it's his cousin. It's Russ. Oh, anyway, true story. And
sounds like good planning.
Yeah.
Never grew it back. I actually really liked it and never grew it back. So it's been, what's that, 40 years?
Yeah.
There you go.
30 years.
30.
That's a great story.
Yeah, well, give it a try. Go throw it back.
Yeah,
No.
what kind of bet is it going to take now for you to get that back?
You drew it back for the.
Had we won the. Oh, I did for Movember. You're right. I did grow it back for Movember. That's the prostate cancer month for.
Sure.
I grew it back, but that was brief. That was like for a month, and then I couldn't get it off fast enough. But
we'll think it's.
You know what? We could have done had we won the Brier this year.
Yeah, there
I
you
could
go.
have won the mustache. Didn't make enough shots, Middaugh. Jesus
Just so
Christ.
you know, if we did, you'd be playing at the Worlds right now with it. 'Cause I still couldn't throw a rock.
He can't move. He couldn't put his socks on for a week when he got home.
Yeah.
Really, I was gonna ask, like, how did you feel during the Brier, after the Brier? I mean, sounds like it wasn't great.
It you know what? We started off the week and I went in feeling pretty good. We had actually, I think we practiced like 5 out of 6 days before we went.
Okay.
And I felt not too bad. I'm like, okay, this feels okay. And then we get to the Brier and we just have a practice day. And we had a slow start with like one game. The first 3 days, we only had one game a day. I'm like, this is not bad at all. So I was feeling pretty good. And then we had a 2-game day, and the 2-game day was against McEwen and Laycock. And I threw a bunch of heaters those games. And all of a sudden, just because you're coming down that much harder when you're throwing peel weight, and all of a sudden I go to bed and my knees are just stinging. Like I'm like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. So the next day, again, I'm thankful it's a 1-game day. So again, a good night's rest. And get up and only play 1 game. I'm like, okay, feel pretty good again. So I'm back to okay. And then another 2-game day. I'm like, oh, this does not feel well.
This sucks.
So I was, whatever medications you could take that were non-performance enhancing drugs that weren't on any list, I was taking.
They call it an hour
included, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. We call it vitamin I.
Yeah, I was taking them as fast as I could.
Got it.
That's crazy. Wayne Glenn, what got you in the position to call Wayne up?
So I guess on January the 19th, my son Scott, I just bought a new snowmobile, and my son Scott just bought a new snowmobile. He comes over on about 4:30, 5 o'clock on the 19th of January. It's a Tuesday. He says, Dad, let's go for a little spin. I said, perfect. Out we go. Get about, I'm gonna say about 45 minutes away from the house, all through the bush, through a park sort of thing. We get to doesn't matter, a main road. We turn around, time to go back, and Scott says, "Do you want to switch sleds?" And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "Just remember, my sled, the carbides on the skis are a little worn out. Steering's not great." Oh, perfect. So I jump on his sled. He takes off, and I'm literally talking to myself. Okay, Glenn, don't be an idiot. I'm working the steering. It's a little loose. You know, it's snowing out. Scott's in front of me. Shit's flying. Everything. Just don't be an idiot. You know, I literally was saying to myself. Next thing I remember is I'm getting myself off a trail. Ooh. I'd gone around a corner, and guys, I don't even remember this. Scott's putting it together for me. I remember nothing. I went around a corner and I slid, and my two skis went into the side of a tree, and I flew up and T-boned the tree with my body.
Oh.
Came down onto the trail, and I ended up 9 broken ribs, a cracked sternum, a cracked vertebrae in my neck, collapsed lung, contusion behind my sternum, and a bruised heart. Other than that, it was fine.
Other than
You
that, you're
couldn't
fine.
curl.
Yeah,
You're
perfect.
good.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Not
just
good.
like new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God he had
Anyway,
a good helmet. He had a
I-
good
well,
helmet
that's-
on.
Yeah, it was split right down. So I knew I'd hit sideways because the split was right down this side of the helmet. The front was fine. No concussion. I
Your
was
helmet
split.
Helmet
What kind of
right
helmet
down
did you? What kind of helmet did you have on?
I had a Bombardier. It's a
BBS2, it's called.
BBS2. Wayne and I
Okay.
bought them
BBS2.
years ago. They're
Another
top
bet.
of the line. Guys, it saved my life. All
We'll see.
seriousness.
We'll see if we can get you a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll,
yeah, I need a new helmet because I am going to get back on that sled.
All
I'm
right.
definitely getting back on that sled.
We'll see what we can.
Anyway,
do.
long story short, I got back to our local hospital. They did a bunch of X-rays and said we got to rush you to Toronto. Got down there, spent 8 days in Sunnybrook, which is a really good hospital. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was scared the shit out of me, and needless to say, I wasn't curling. I did throw a few rocks with the guys, so it would have been 5-6 weeks before we left. I threw a few rocks with them.
Mhm.
I could have curled. I couldn't have curled well, but I could have curled. If somebody actually hurt themselves, I could see myself jumping in the lead and maybe lobbing them. I probably could have lobbed them up and down. I probably couldn't have swept.
Yeah.
But I resigned myself to the fact that was okay. I put the coaching hat on. I did play. They got me into one game. I played
Yeah.
2 ends.
Hey, danced
in-
around there. That was some pretty good dance moves
Yeah.
you displayed.
Yeah, right. That's right. I don't know whether you saw the one game though. I was getting so stoked as a coach, right? Like I'm just so excited watching these guys. You know, and Wayne was a human highlight reel. He was making all these. Like every game was going to last shot, and we were winning them all. Nothing. We never had any heartbreak along the way. And I forget which one. He made this unreal shot to win, and we come down and. And it was so bizarre because we're at the Brier, and you know, after you see some of these amazing shots, and 5 people are cheering, the 4 on the ice and the coach, and it's crazy.
I know. You got
Yeah.
you got robbed of the crowd experience because I can't imagine.
There were such amazing shots, but anyway, we won the one game. We come down, and Wayne and I always do this. You know, we go out and do the little, and we kind of do one of these chest pumps.
The man hug.
The man hug, and he didn't think of it, and I didn't think of it. My ribs did remember,
Yeah.
Ribs remembered.
but it was worth it. That was worth it. So
I got.
Anyway,
I'm gonna say that I think TSN undersold the severity of your injury.
they
was like-
Yeah, it's funny, Craig. They knew about it. I did a long blurb with Vic, and maybe they didn't want to. And I didn't care. One thing I didn't want. I wanted to get it out a little bit before we got there. Is I didn't want it to be the story. Last thing I wanted to do is talk about that. I knew he was going to be the story because I just knew that they were going to do well. And as we were winning and going along, the story just got bigger and bigger. Is how can this 53-year-old on one leg come out and throw 89, 92% games? And we're beating everybody. And Scotty, Dave, and Tim were lighting it up too. Like it was such a classic story. It was just so good.
Scott played great.
He played
at
awesome.
the Brier. He
was real fun to watch.
As good as I've seen him. He was fired up. He was just the thing about and that's what Wayne, brings to the team is, and I'm kind of the same. We go there to win. It doesn't matter if hasn't thrown a rock in 5 years. We went there to win that thing, and people go, but we could easily win. We were so close to winning it, and it's. If you go there, you just want to be a part of this happy. I'm just happy to be a part of this event, or I want to get close. No, you go there to win it, and my kid's like that. Scott's like that too. He puts on those shoes. It's look out. I'm going to go give it 150%, and so is Dave and Tim. Same way, and then we were believing. As we went along, it just got better and better.
Yeah.
Do you think Scott might have ramped up a bit just because of the whole backstory with you being injured and then Wayno coming on? Do you think he might have stepped his game up a bit because of that?
It's funny. That's a good Garrett. That's interesting. He's played that well for me as well, but I've never seen him play that well for that long a period. He was just on fire, and he's an emotional kid, and he rides that well. You're right. I think he wanted to not prove something, but he wanted to show that he could make shots as well. But maybe maybe there was a little bit in there that he wanted to kind of give it because that whole story. It was a cool story. It really was.
Maybe he just felt bad because he almost killed his old man.
God, if you really want to skip, I'll just let you do it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Snowmobile.
Yeah.
He was out there dulling the carbides, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
little
get
prick.
the picture. I get the picture.
I gotta tell you a story. Glenn, you just said that Wayne started just riding the train and making all these shots, and like I said, my buddies and I had this little draft, and we started talking about how well Wayne was playing, and I don't know, like in one of our text conversations, it came up, and we started calling Wayne the Wizard. So it was like there was a TSN and there's a featured game. I'm like, we got to watch curling tonight. Wayne the Wizard's on, and they started calling him Wayne the Wizard. So I'm sitting in the garage on Championship Sunday, and I'm watching the semifinal, and my little kid comes up to me, my 7-year-old, and he's like, "What are you watching, Dad?" He's like, "Is Wayne the Wizard on?" I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, "He lost yesterday. He's out." And he just goes, "Aww." Like they became way Middaugh fans like in no
That's
time
awesome.
flat. It was great. We had a great time watching you guys. So
You definitely got a few more fans after that week. No doubt about
absolutely,
it.
Wayne.
Mhm.
What,
That's actually Glenn's nickname. Glenn's nickname for a lot of years was the Wizard of Winter.
nice. Little did we know. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
you know, that's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wayne, how, you were off 5 years. You had done some coaching, so you've been around the game. What were the biggest changes that you saw from when you played last to the Brier?
Honestly, I thought that the hit game had improved night and day. Back when I first started playing with Glenn, and even after that, there was, there's one, maybe two guys on a team that could make a run back. And if you made run back and made contact with the rock in the rings, you were ecstatic. Well, now there's, leads. Every player in the team can make a run back. But on the other side of the coin, I felt teams didn't draw as well. So I felt if you could ever, Russ hated me a lot of times for calling it, but I was probably the only skip there. And every time we'd come around guards, I'd call them behind the tee line because I didn't want the other team to play a run back. I wanted them to draw. So, and a couple times it worked for us, a couple times it didn't. But basically, I was just trying to change the way other teams played against us. I was just trying to take teams out of their comfort zone. Wow. And like I said, it worked a few times for us. And, even though I didn't play, I watched a ton. I went to all those Grand Slams with Team Hasselberg. And when you're coaching them on one sheet, on the next sheet is Jacob and Botcher playing.
Sure.
And I watch exactly how they play or pick two teams. And I saw this is how all the teams play nowadays. And I was like, well, what if you change the game on them so they can't do that? Let's see what they can do. And
I'm going to have to go back and watch games now to see that.
So did you call it like behind the tee, or did you accidentally oversweep it and put it behind the tee?
A lot of times I'd actually flat out call it back there.
Okay.
And then some, but we had as with our team practices beforehand that we talked about the 5 weeks before, I talked to the guys, like it wasn't new to them what we were up to. And there's a couple reasons for doing it. One, you didn't get in as much trouble. Like, you might get forced to one, you might not be able to blank the ends, but as you saw in the Brier final, when you go above the tee line, the guy makes a run back, peels everything off. It's just blank end, blank end, blank end.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make teams beat us for 10 ends, not for 3 ends.
Did you think some of that about drawing because teams had played so little, or just like you said, because the game?
I just think the game has changed.
The game
and
has changed. Okay.
Teams don't put that much importance on being able to draw to a spot anymore.
Across.
They can draw the button. Every team can draw the button as good as anybody because they practice it a million times because that's how you determine hammer. But drawing to a different spot on the sheet, I felt teams weren't quite as sharp at it. And you know what? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We got lucky and it worked for a couple games.
Got it.
It worked for quite a few games.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, you know what? We're 9 games in, and so most nights, you weren't really allowed to see anybody. What you're allowed to meet with your teammates, and most nights at the end of the night, the other guys would go to bed, and Glenn and I would sit in his room and watch an episode of Seinfeld and just chat about the day and what we did well and who we had to play tomorrow. But it was the funniest thing in the world to see a 53-year-old guy and a guy a little bit older than me, just our age. Literally, we're 8-1 leading the Brier, and we were just sitting in the room. We just couldn't believe it. We're like, really? We're doing well.
If we're laughing, what's everybody else doing? Like, what is happening?
They're all swearing. They're all swearing.
Yeah.
They're swearing.
How are these old bastards winning all these games?
True story, Craig. And I kind of put my coaching hat on, and I could kind of realize that guys were getting a little ticked. You could just see that they were not loving the fact that they were getting beaten by this team that probably aren't supposed to. And we kind of kept it as light as possible. We were trying to laugh. We were joking out there. Even some of the breaks we were making jokes. And I didn't see that with other teams. They looked like they weren't having fun. They were really stressing. So we tried to build on that quite a bit, and it did work. I really felt like we had our serious moments for sure, but we were out there kind of like carefree, but free rolling more than anything. We were really having fun and making shots, and took the stress out of us. And you could tell as the stress was coming us, we're having fun making shots. The other teams were getting more stressful, and it was really cool. And like I said, it was working, and it really. A shot here or there, we're playing on the weekend, and then you don't know what. You never know, right? At that point.
Yeah, for sure. We had
shots, then
to go a step further, Glenn, with where we were at now. You're not going to believe this, but I just got an email from the World Curling Federation and from the Swiss national team coach that they're going to paper the rocks tonight. They actually have it in writing that if they're going to paper the rocks, they actually have to send out notice to the teams, the coaches.
Isn't that a shocker?
And it has to be done. It has to be done no closer than 2 games from the playoffs. So here I am sitting at home, and I get notice that they're going to paper the rocks.
Isn't that unbelievable? Yeah. 2 times.
Not even in the event.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shit show.
You want to double check the timestamp on that email? Like was that 2 weeks late?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks late.
Wait, was that a feel thing, or did you go in thinking that right away, or did you kind of play it through as you started playing the games?
What's that?
Your strategy. Did you go in with that strategy going in, or did you kind of play it through with some games?
We probably played it through a little bit. Like if it hadn't worked at the start of the week, I wouldn't have kept doing it. But you know what? We were in every game, and a lot of games we were in control, and we didn't have a lot of bad ends, which one of the things that, where other teams had chances to get big ends on us. So end after end, the more time you have, it starts to build up, and it builds confidence within your team as well. The guys started to say, you know what, this is really working, and we're winning games. And I'm a little bit superstitious, and when you're on a winning streak, you know what? I hate to use my first F-bomb, but you don't fuck with a winning streak.
Right.
That was an acceptable use of that word. That was acceptable use of that word.
That was an approved use. Yep.
All right, since we're gonna start swearing, I'm gonna tell a funny story to segue into whatever the next topic's gonna be. But
Yes, do it.
back in 1994, I'm going in the Wayback Machine here. So this is the year after you guys quit playing together.
Yeah.
And I'm hot shit because my team just won the U.S. National Junior Championship the year before, and we won the bronze medal at the Junior Worlds. And so we go up to Thunder Bay, and Wayne, you're playing in Thunder Bay. Glenn, I'm not sure if you were there or not, but we're it's the Grand Prix or the Sun Life, one of those spiels.
McDonald's.
Yeah, the McDonald's. I guess one of those was in Sault Ste. Marie, but we're in Thunder Bay, and I'm all of like 18, and Wayne, you go walking by me. I think you're on the way into the hospitality room, and I'm sitting with my team in the right behind the sheet. We're waiting to go on the ice, and as soon as you get out of earshot, I say, well, there goes the dumbest fucking guy in the whole world. And there was another guy walking behind you. And the other guy walking behind you kind of gave me a little look like, I didn't know what it was. And so then my team says, well, they needed some context. So I give them context in that, well, Wayne just walked away from the best team in the entire world. Like, they've won everything. They should have won the Brier again last year. They won, so much money on tour. And one of my teammates says, I'm pretty sure that guy who walked by right after him, I'm pretty sure it was his third. And sure enough, I said, there's the dumbest guy in the whole fucking world right in front of Cracks as Cracks walked by to follow you into the hospitality room. And, maybe he didn't hear it, but, like, to this day, I'm pretty sure that, like, he busted me on calling you the dumbest guy in the world. And then, you go and prove me wrong by winning, $200,000 a year in skins games and world championships and everything for the next 6 years. But anyways, I thought it was.
He had a plan.
Yeah.
He had a plan.
Was a good plan.
It worked out for him.
So
My
that
brother-in-law was on the team.
He was. I was
Yeah.
going to say, if it was your brother-in-law that chirped you back, would have been funnier.
That's right.
It wasn't. The guy didn't chirp. So he didn't chirp me back, but like it was cracks. So
Yeah.
That's funny. You did get criticized a little bit for leaving.
I got criticized a lot for
Yeah, 'cause
leaving.
people, and it's kind of to your point. We got a little bit of a run going. It was
Yeah.
pretty darn good. But
You can only
you had a
take
plan.
you can only take so many Howards for so long. I think I've never mentioned Glenn, but
I would think that a couple years with that many Howards is enough.
Oh yeah, I had to quit him. I had to quit Russ for God's sake.
Send
Russ moved
him
away.
out east.
You.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he says. And actually, he probably quit me. Now that I think about it, maybe I'm the problem. There you go.
Wow, this is like a psycho session right now. Everybody's
Yeah.
got their own bullshit. So
Uh,
crazy.
how's
All
the
right.
meat?
Meat's
real good.
Yeah.
The bacon's delicious.
Yeah, the bacon's good. It's good in the Caesar too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good stir.
So you guys play with your wives on together. How long you been doing that? And I think you said, but what club you?
Our local club just down the street from me, Penetanguishene.
I think that's Vic's second favorite word next to Oromocto, by the way.
Penetanguishene. That's a good one. Wayne's doing the calculation. So his wife Sherry, of course, you know Sherry,
Yeah.
one of the best female curlers that lived as well. So we've had a pretty good team. My wife Judy always plays lead. The three of us rotate. If I play second this week, I'd go to third to skip, and we just go around the horn. Didn't matter who we were playing. Did not win every game. Everybody says, how can you win? Well, we didn't always win. But then Sherry's the convener of the whole. It's a major league. It's a pretty good league. It's got to be over 20. Hey, Wayne, 20 years? 20?
98, I think, Glenn.
It's 98.
Wow.
It's at 23.
Yeah.
23 years.
And we've had some good spares over the years. We had Anna Hasselberg spare with us one night. So it was, yeah. Sherry,
Of course
Sherry,
we did.
Anna, Sherry, Anna, Glenn, and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing up to play.
Showing up to your lead, right?
God, I hope you won that night.
We did win that game. Did it go 4? It might not even have gone 4 ends.
Yeah.
And we let Anna. So Anna's going to skip. She didn't want to skip. Remember that? She goes, I can't skip. I don't want to skip. Anna, are you kidding me? You're going to go skip. I don't want to skip you two guys. I don't want to skip you two guys.
I would
Pretty
guess she
funny.
knows what
She,
she's
of course,
doing.
made every shot. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's your Swedish, Wayne? It's pretty good.
You know what? It's a good story, but it's slowly getting better. But I haven't actually been with them for a year now.
Right.
But when I'm with them a lot, I pick up more and more words. But the entire team has a pretty good sense of humor, and they'll try and teach me things, and then I'll find out later when I say them that what they taught me wasn't what they told me it was. So they like to play with me a little bit that way. They think it's actually fun. All of a sudden I'll go into somebody and I'll meet Anna's mom or something, and I'll say something in Swedish, and she'll look at me like, and the team will say, "Oh, Wayne, sorry, that really means this."
You pooped in your hand. No.
Are you going to Worlds with them?
Yes, I'm moving to the bubble Sunday for 28 days.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah.
Both
Thanks
Grand
for-
Slams both Grand Slams in the world.
Well, thanks for joining us before you do that. I mean,
Do not envy that move. It how do you explain it? It wasn't that bad, but you couldn't wait to get the hell out.
yeah. Okay.
It wasn't that bad being there, but then after you left, you go, oh my God, I don't want to go back. And I know Wayne struggled with trying to decide. He kind of didn't want to go for the whole thing, but then felt that he should because the girl, you haven't seen the girls in a year, and
yeah.
But if any other circumstance, a hotel, you get to drive around Calgary, it'd be no problem.
Yeah.
But to sit in this godforsaken, and guys, as you know, you go from the arena to the hotel room to the arena to the hotel room.
That's it.
Nothing in between.
Yeah, we had
And it's literally 10-minute walk. It'd be a beautiful walk, but
you can't walk. Yeah, I heard you can't even walk because they can't control it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
They want you. They sort of give you. You got to check in and check out, so you only have so much time. They don't want you stopping at McDonald's or stopping whatever.
Right. Well, yeah, God forbid you go get a coffee at Tim Hortons or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I did two tours in Iraq, so I know exactly what you guys did with just going to work and going to bed. Like I know
very
exactly
different. What you did in Iraq is very different. We were curling,
but the same.
we were carrying the feet in public.
But the same thing. You got only 2 places to go.
It was probably hotter.
It was hotter, but.
Wayne, what you have to do is way tougher. Don't let them kid you. Way tougher.
Yeah, you deal with 4 Swedish women.
I did get a chance to play
with
Sarah and Sophia in the Bumpy Cup maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, tell me a good story that I can bring up one night when we're chatting.
No, they behaved. It was really Dean's team that was there that was causing trouble.
Disappointed, Joel. I thought you'd have something.
They did. Have you ever done bobsled curling? Bobsleigh curling?
Yeah.
Have you ever done bobsleigh curling?
Never heard of it.
So the Bumpy Cup is it's all
I know what
different.
that
It's all different kinds of curling, so it's never straight up curling. So we had fun doing bobsleigh curling, where they took tables from the clubhouse upstairs, turned them upside down, and then someone's sitting on the table holding the rock, and then your teammates push you until the first hog line. They release you by the first hog line, and then you're sliding down with the rock on the table, and you have to release the rock by the second hog line, and then also you need to stop yourself so you don't slide into all the other rocks that are in play.
Wow.
Yeah, Ice Guy loved you.
It was a lot of fun.
What they won't come up with.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. So if you have a chance, go to the Bumpy Cup.
Bobsled curling.
So in the bubble guys, what was food like? Did you order out? Did they have chef service? Was it like 5-star meals? What did you guys?
Go ahead, Glenn.
Basically, we had room. The first 3 days, you basically couldn't leave. You couldn't people couldn't come in and out. We couldn't even go to each other's rooms for the first couple of days. So you passed. You had a COVID test as soon as you got there. You get that result like the next day. Then that day you'd get another test. You get that. You had to wait like 48 hours or something like that. So all room service, and basically, you called down typical room service. They brought it. It was okay. The restaurant food was decent. Then after that was over, you were able to do like Uber Eats or any one of those other ones. You phone the restaurant and they delivered in, and they'd come in. There was like double doors, and they'd bring it in to the double door, leave. We'd go through the other door, pick it up. So actually, food was not a problem. Yeah, like I said, everything else worked. It's just you got claustrophobic. You got sick and tired of seeing the inside of your room. And thank God for a while they were going to ban us commiserating amongst ourselves. Yeah. Like we couldn't see any other team. That was a given. You couldn't see any other teams the whole time. But at least we could a guy go to Wayne's room, or he'd come to mine, or the guys come to mine. For first 2 or 3 days we couldn't, and they were talking about doing that a lot longer. That would have been a disaster. That would have been just horrific. Like you need some sort of social. It didn't make sense because we're jumping into the same van together. Because you drive yourself. You have your own van. You drive yourself. You go. You're all in there anyway.
Right.
So, but they made it happen. They did everything they needed to do, and touch wood, it's been very successful. Very successful so far.
Yeah. Well, and just to think about it, like if you weren't be able to be with your team, I mean, that's when you do a lot of your strategy and a lot of talking, a lot of gaming. And if you had been in your own room, you'd be like with your own thoughts going crazy.
Just do another
Zoom call. We probably would have had to do this. We would have had to do
Zoom
something
call.
like this. It seems a little ridiculous when Wayne's right next door. But anyway, we made it work.
Nice.
Yeah. And Wayne gets another month of it. Do you leave? You're leaving this Sunday? Not this Sunday.
Sunday at 2:00.
Oh, right. You're missing the final of the Masters.
Yeah. Who do you guys like? Who's gonna win this weekend? Who's going to win the Masters?
Justin Thomas and Spieth are going tied into the back nine.
Whoa!
You want me to text you on the plane? Do you want to do the Seinfeld episode? Do you want to hear how the Mets are doing? Or what? Do you...
So this episode's gonna come out probably after the Masters.
Yeah, it'll
done,
come out
so.
next Tuesday.
Yeah,
so you'll look like a genius or a fool. But
Yeah.
I like Thomas is playing pretty good. Ronnie, who do you
would be
like?
my pick.
Who do you like?
I'm paying Thomas and Morikawa.
Thomas
Ooh.
Morikawa.
Morikawa's got a pretty swing.
I love the kid. I don't know. There's something about
Morikawa, eh?
Did you see the video of DeChambeau on the practice
that guy
range
is like
with
he's a
with
clown.
VJ
Yeah, with
behind
VJ
him,
just
laughing at him?
smiling back behind him. Yeah, that was.
It was. How is that body is? It's going to fall apart within a year, isn't it? You
Has to.
cannot
Has to.
swing
I think so.
yourself into the ground.
Well, that's what Tiger did. He just beefed up and he blew his back
Not
out.
like this though.
DeChambeau's
No.
times 10 though, isn't it?
Yeah,
No.
and it was
Yeah.
way fast.
I don't.
Way
I don't like him, but that's me. I don't know.
But he's a train wreck. You can't not watch.
Can't
Right.
not watch.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not-
exactly.
DeChambeau's about to drive a par 5 there a few weeks ago. We can't wait till he gets to number 6 to see if he's going to do it. Waiting
Yeah.
for the wind, and it's theatrics, but still, it's fun to watch. He's a different cat.
I agree.
It's a different cat. That's a good way to put it. Have
you
you
don't
guys
think-
ever been to the Masters?
Wayne has. I have not.
I went. I was lucky enough to go all 4 days one year. I don't know, about 2002, and so I love watching that event on TV more than anything else because you can visualize being there and how much, like, just how perfect the conditions are. But like, one thing that never comes through on TV is how hilly that course is.
Yeah, that's what they always say. Unbelievable.
And I mean, it's nuts. And some of those greens, it looks like I think I would be happy to average 3 putts on a lot of those greens.
True story.
It's a big golf.
Who are you guys all taking? I heard Thomas.
Yeah, I like Thomas. I think you know who's gonna sneak up is
Mike Weir.
no.
Come on.
Why?
He might. Who's the Euro
playing well.
that's just won a second a bunch of times? I'm
Joaquin Neiman.
No.
Neiman. John
Westwood.
Rahm? Oh, Westwood. Yeah, no.
Oh, Westwood, no.
He can't-
Rahm, that's not a bad choice. I like
Just had a
that.
kid. Just had a
He's
kid.
not a
hasn't hit
Davey,
ball.
so that might be a good thing.
Is Johnson in it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Nope.
exactly. He's not been putting very well, and that's the problem. That's where Spieth has been on fire.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's going to be somebody like Koepka who's hurt, and everybody's written him off, just like they wrote off Team Wildcard 3 at the Brier. and all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, Cinderella story. There you go.
Greg, you might be onto something there.
Koepka's
He's had knee surgery 3 weeks
Right,
ago.
the guy's a monster. So
He is. A monster.
You know what though? Same with Rahm. Rahm just had a kid. He doesn't have like all the other thoughts
Yeah.
of golf are out of his head. So he's just gonna go out there and play. He's probably gonna shoot like 63 on
You know who I
Thursday,
want?
and
The guy I want to
He's
play
kick.
well. The guy I want to play well is Ricky Fowler. I like Ricky Fowler.
Me too.
He's
He
not
didn't make
going
it.
to.
He's not. He's
He's
not
not
there.
He had to win.
He's not even
He had to
there?
win in the weekend.
Yeah, he's not in the field.
Ah,
there.
Come on.
I feel bad for him.
I bet you he doesn't win then.
No, probably not.
yeah, right.
I think it's going to be like Bernhard Langer against Fred Couples in a playoff. Like the guys who,
Not longer. Yeah.
they're 100 years old, but they always make the cut. And they always stick around a lot longer than you think they're going to.
They know how to play Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so every episode
quick
we
on-
get to some questions for the guests.
Okay.
Why don't we get two of those? So,
All right. We're going to try and give you both all of the questions. So we'll have to kind of keep it, I don't know, some of them tight, but whatever.
Back and forth.
All right. Besides a club that you have ever considered your home club, what's your favorite curling club in the world?
I'm not going to pick a specific club, but I'm going to pick two specific countries. Any curling club in Scotland or Switzerland, it's unbelievable. I just, you have so much fun. You can get some of these little nooks and crannies. You got curling clubs with glass on the side. You got curling clubs with, little pubs in them. It's, these little towns. Scotland and Switzerland are unbelievable. I can't pick a club per se, but I just love every bit about those two countries to curl in.
Got it.
I could agree with Glenn. Switzerland is just, I think, the most beautiful place in the world to curl. Every club I've been to there is just unreal.
Good answer.
It is
hard to,
a lot of nice clubs. They spend their money on their buildings very well, I would say there. Like sometimes the ice is total crap, but like Geneva, you guys played, one of your worlds was in Geneva, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And like, so did you go down to Lausanne, like just down the road and play where you're, staring at across the lake at the mountains and.
Yeah.
It's just, are you kidding me? Like, how can you not, like, whereas, in Canada, we got some beautiful curling clubs, but there are also some where just in the middle of a little nook and cranny that it's not exactly aesthetically pleasing, but
they put up 4 block walls and.
Right. And you're right with the buildings in Switzerland are just mind-boggling. And then Scotland's the same. You come out and then you look up and there's a castle. Like, pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. What is your your favorite spiel that you've ever been to? Competitive, recreational, whatever.
Oh, wow. The Ottawa Spiel, as far as the tour events used to go, was always the most fun by far of any spiel.
And there's nothing compared to that anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing even close to that.
No.
Yeah. Curlers are different now.
Yes, that's right.
Curlers are different.
Glenn, don't feel pressured to say the lupus spiel.
yeah.
I mean, don't.
You know what? The one I totally forgot about is the lupus spiel. Totally forgot about it. It's unbelievable.
Good
Just
answer.
You can edit that and cut that first question.
We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get that in post.
Yep.
No problem.
Oh yeah, we'll fix
That
it.
was a lot of fun, boys.
It'll look
A
smooth.
baby
It'll look smooth.
Yeah, a baby segue to that. What was your, outside of money, what was your best winning prize?
Outside of money.
Money. What? There's something better than money?
That's right.
Well, no, like
I've won meat.
Yeah, Craig's dad won it. Didn't your dad win a cow, Craig?
Yeah, my dad won a cow. I won a chainsaw.
You want a chainsaw?
Those are all good prizes.
I don't know. We won the world championships in '93. There was no prize for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
How
Yep.
far are you guys
There's
from
all
Blind
these-
River?
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere along the line I won a toaster. I'm pretty sure I won a toaster. A 2-slice.
A 2-slice.
Whoa,
Because there's all these
whoa.
crazy stories.
They didn't make 4 slicers back
I've heard on the Inside Curling podcast they've talked about car spiels. Did you guys ever win a car or anything?
Never won a car.
No, never won a car.
Never won a car. There
I got
was car spiels. You're right.
Hey, Glenn, we both won trips. You won the trip to Scotland. I won
yeah.
the Switzerland. Those are pretty good.
Those are pretty
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good prize.
They were
Actually
just
won
kids.
a fun spiel that was a trip to Florida where they paid for everything and they gave you like a big house on a golf course and it was unreal. Yeah. So,
Nice.
trips. Nice.
Yeah,
That's a good question. Good question, Garrett.
Good question.
That's a good prize too.
Yeah.
For vacation
agree.
week in Florida.
'Cause
Maybe
you can always
not right
spend
now
money
with all the
you never-
COVID, but
Yeah, but you can get your shot down there. You can't get it in Canada.
that's true.
Got mine today, Wayne.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
Hey, me too.
Oh,
Did you? Yeah.
which one did you get?
I'm old. The AstraZeneca one. Apparently,
Sure. Yeah.
they figure it's anybody older than me and anybody younger than me, you can't take it. But my age, you can apparently take it with no side effects.
Well, you look good, so it's not affecting you in a bad
Yeah.
way.
Next
Right.
Tuesday, I'm going to have a 3rd ear, but other than
Yeah, and a mustache.
Yeah. And a mustache. Yeah.
And a mustache.
what's the date to get your mustache back? Yeah, a shot of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Is that a one shot?
Johnson one,
Right.
and it
Oh,
didn't
2.
give me a full stash. It gave me a full.
It's going to be probably 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months before we get the next one. That's what they think. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball in here in Canada right now. We should be, and there's so many other frontline workers that don't have it yet, but yet they let me get. I don't know what, and I'm just because of my age. It has nothing to do with who I am.
Yeah.
Like probably in 2 weeks, Wayne will be able to get his. Like it's just, I don't know, because it's a certain strain of virus or sort of a vaccine that some people can't take. I guess it's a blood clotting one, and anyway, I listen. They said I was going 2 o'clock in the morning to go get your shot. I'm going to get it. So I think that's the only way we're going to kick this.
Sure.
Good for you.
Right?
Good for you.
All right, Craig. Next question.
This one, I think I already know the answer because everybody gives the same answer. What's your favorite thing about curling?
People.
People.
Yeah.
That's how I get it. I love
Everybody gives the same.
You know what? You know what, Craig, I've known you for a long time, but I meet you guys tonight. That's kind of fun. Glenn and I have been friends for literally since the early 80s. We first met each other, and
Because of curling.
yeah, because of curling.
We met through curling.
Yeah. Met my wife through curling. Curling's been great to me. I can't say enough about all the good people I've met through curling. And both Glenn and I, as I'm sure you guys we could travel anywhere in the world, and we have friends there because of curling.
Absolutely.
It is a pat answer, but it's the right one.
Good answer.
It is the right answer.
It is.
the
It
right
really is,
answer.
Greg.
I would.
And
Fresh out of
it's-
college, me and a buddy went over to Europe to play in a summer spiel, and we were in Europe for like 40 days, just traveling around, and we spent 21 days staying at friends' houses that I knew from curling at like junior worlds and I think the first men's worlds I played out of. So I mean, we were just like, oh yeah, I know somebody in that town. I know somebody in that town. I know somebody in that, and they always let us stay, and it was great.
Where else, Greg? Where else do you find that? Like you just don't get those opportunities through.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Work, you don't
No.
get it.
Probably not.
I don't know.
No.
It is a pat answer.
With work, just the other day, I was on a project interview. It was myself, a mayor, a city administrator, and a planner. And I brought up that I curled in this curling club that's in their town. And it happened that the mayor was a curler. So
There you go. It's
Nice.
unreal.
yeah, it kind of shaded our position, which in a good way. So
How'd you guys start curling?
Parents for me.
Yep.
And obviously, again, typical Canadians. That's sort of my mom and dad both curled, loved the sport. Got my brother into Russ. Russ is 7 years older than me. Got him into it first, and then obviously he loved it. And my parents loved it, and then I followed watching Big Brother play. I just had to get involved as well, and then I fell in love with it at the same time. So, parents would be number one. Got me involved.
was there a point where the bug actually hit, or did it take a little while? Was it right away?
Pretty much right away. And again, I was spoiled because I watched Russ, and if you know anything about him, he was a bit of a perfectionist. Everything he tried, he wanted to be the best at and do it properly. And he was super competitive. Like he's one of the most competitive guys I know. And even at a young age, he was still. So if I started when I was 9 or 10, we kind of had to be old enough to throw the rocks down to the other end. We didn't have little rocksmen. So he would have been 17, and he's into the juniors and playing well. And I loved watching him play. And I thought, this is cool. This is something I could do. And then, of course, my dream was to play with him someday and maybe get to a Brier. And then obviously that worked out pretty good. But yeah, it's just following him and getting, and it really was my mom and dad. Had they not got into it, they got us into all sports though. We were a very sports-minded family. So we were introduced to everything, but we both Russ and I tended to kind of concentrate on curling more than any other sport.
Yeah, mine started the same thing. It was actually my grandparents, probably my grandfather more than anything. He believed in the same thing as how many different sports can my grandkids play? And the same thing, curling was just one of those ones on the list. He just so happened to be a nice retired. He was also a professional lacrosse player, won the Mann Cup, the Minnow Cup, everything else. So he was quite an athlete himself. And he retired and became the manager and the ice maker of the Brampton Curling Club. So both my parents worked, and at the end of your school day, which the school, my school growing up was right beside the curling club. So you didn't go home because there was nobody there. You went to the curling club, and Grandma and Grandpa took care of you. But similar to Glenn, we weren't allowed on the ice till we were 12 years old. So even though you went there as a kid, Grandpa put you to work moving tables and stocking the bar and carrying beers up and down. Whatever he needed done, you did. And
The other thing, back in the day, like of course it was licensed. You could serve booze in the main area. Anybody underage, so at that time was 18, 19 years old. You weren't physically allowed to walk in there, so you couldn't actually get on the ice. Like you had to go at a side door or whatever. So they didn't want you there. That's basically what it was, and it took a lot of years before they started to allow the kids to curl, which was sad. And whereas today, obviously, it's different, and we promote it all over the world. But it wasn't easy to overcome some of those things, but we were all pretty passionate about it.
So to go even a step further with me is you know what I did? It wasn't my first sport when I first started playing it at 12 years old. I still played hockey and lacrosse and you name it, baseball. I played every sport you can imagine as a kid. And then probably my very first provincial championship was in Midland, Ontario. And so back then you didn't get hotels. I was pretty young, and they billeted you out at people's houses. And my team, lo and behold, got billeted at Russ Howard's house. So that is how I met the Howard in 1983. So we're there, and Russ is telling us all these stories about curling. He had been to the Brier in 1980, and it was a big deal and everything else. And Russ is like, you know what? You think I'm good? You got to meet my brother. And literally, Glenn comes over one day. So that's how I met Glenn Howard and Russ Howard. And it was funny. So like back and forth from then, you know, I make my first Canadians in 87, and I get a telegram from Russ.
I was just going to say, did you like send smoke signals back and forth? Because you didn't have emails.
The carrier pigeons were busy that day. So
yeah.
It was too cold.
87 in the Canadian juniors, I get a telegram from Russ Howard. And then lo and behold, like the next year, they're playing in the Brier final, and I send them a telegram.
Nice.
Telegram shows up in your room. And then 89, all of a sudden we start to, it's funny, I'm helping Shorty Jenkins do the ice at the World Juniors. And Russ is there as a guest speaker, and we get talking about curling. And Russ says, you know, maybe looking to do something different. Young front end, would you guys ever consider playing front end? And I said, well, I'll play if I can bring my cousin Pete along. He wants to play too, because, you know, young guys at front end, and, you know, you talk to your brother. So Russ calls Glenn up, and I call Pete up. And we actually, in 89, the end of that season, we actually meet for a spiel, the North Bay Jamaica spiel. It's our first spiel together. And lo and behold, there it was, 89. We started curling together just yesterday, Glenn.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Just
yesterday.
Awesome. At the
Craig,
Markham World Junior Championship.
Yeah.
You were in 89?
Yeah, it was in Markham. My sister played in that one.
Okay.
Is that right? And you know what's interesting about that is had Wayne not been billeted, I'm sure we would have crossed paths, but he had not been billeted in Midland when you were 13, 14. Who knows what would happen?
Yeah.
That's where the relationship started, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What a story.
That's crazy.
Hey, Tommy, please, you save those telegrams. Those have got to go into a history book somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They're on microfilm at the library.
Microfiche. Did they have to Morse code them, or was it?
Mr. Feely, the delivery guy with his bicycle coming up.
That's right.
Telegram from Mongol. Telegram from Mongol.
Yeah.
So, Wayne, you said you grew up in Brampton. Where'd you grow up, Glenn?
Actually, Midland. Just Midland, just down around the corner. Grew up in Midland, Ontario, and went away to university. Ended up coming back to the same area, managed beer stores, and I stayed local. It wasn't by design, but just sort of happened. And then lo and behold, Wayne, Brampton boy, ends up moving up to our area, up into Victoria Harbor, back in
97.
97.
97. I moved up here.
So,
All the
You're
years we
like
curled.
Rain Man with your dates.
Yeah.
You know everything.
You're assuming he's telling the truth. Like, who knows?
That's a good point. That's a good
Could have been
point.
77.
We don't have the interns to do the fact checking, so we're
No,
just
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Or the outturns to do the fact check?
Oh,
Also, that's a Canadian
Yeah.
97,
That's
so you
right.
got to take like 30% off of it.
yeah. Okay.
Us down
Yeah.
in the States.
Yeah, all right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for the exchange rate.
Yeah.
It's only like 20% right now, though. So, All right, give me a quick piece of advice that you got for somebody who's trying to get better, and maybe a club curler trying to get better.
Learn how to draw the 8-foot and hit and stay.
That's
all you got to do.
It's funny. We laugh about that all the time, Wayne and I. For you, if you can hit and stay and draw the 8-foot, most of the time you're going to win a lot of curling games.
Yeah.
Wow.
All serious though, on the same tone, but all serious. Have them watch watch the Briers, watch the Worlds, watch as much as you can. Watch what the pros.
Yeah.
How they curl. Watch how they do it. How they read ice. How they make shots. How they communicate. How they they're the best in the business are on TV right now. Have them if you're trying to get better and you're not watching that, there's something in my mind. There's something wrong.
Got it.
And then the other thing, locally, if you can find somebody with a lot of knowledge, if somebody at a local club, if Craig Brown's available, you go and pick Craig Brown's brain. You've got living expertise right there. And that's there has to be a lot of that around. If you don't, then it's almost got to be through osmosis. So you watch the curling and you ask questions and you watch tapes and, you listen to Wayne tells me stories about Anna Hasselberg, arguably the best female curler in the world. She's constantly learning and trying to find out. She's picking his brain. She's asking why, this, whatever. She's trying to get better. Tiger Woods is always trying to get better. He was the best by far, but he's always trying to get better. So I think it's all about, seeing what other people do. And it's just not going to just fall in your lap. You have to go looking for it.
Sure. Yeah, and that's part of the, one of the reasons that we wanted to focus on that for the show is that curlers all across the U.S. We're pretty lucky here in Madison that we've got a lot of national and world champions around, but there's a lot of clubs around the U.S. that just don't have access to that kind of info. So we're doing our best to share as much as we can.
Well, this is a great forum as well. I've done a couple of these. Even like in Canada, Ontario, whatever, I did a bunch with some little kids, and they were asking some great questions, and it's at least it's something. It's some sort of information, and I think if they hear it from somebody other than their father, which unfortunately the father could be great, but if they hear it from somebody else, it might go a little further. But again, picking brains of experts is the best way, and there's tons of experts in the States, for sure, and I think that. They have to want to do it too, and that's on the other side of the coin. They have to want to get better.
So that's why Scott played so well, because he was listening to
his dad.
He was listening to
Wayne.
Wayne.
Listening to somebody who wasn't his dad.
Not his dad.
Wasn't.
Yeah, well, you're right. I think that's really where this is going. That's right.
Both my kids curl, but they sure don't listen to me.
That's right.
You got to do a swap. You got to do a little exchange, and just think how good your kids could actually be.
There you go.
And the funny
You're
part is,
probably
about that again, back to our major league, is sometimes we can't find players, so I need a spare. One of my kids will be home from school. I'll say, hey, will you come curl with us in major league? And their first reaction all the time is Glenn going to be there? I want to play with Glenn. Oh, that's funny. They don't want to play with me. They want to go play with Glenn. I'm like, really? Come on.
Yeah, I get it. Like you said, if your dad doesn't tell you, then you maybe listen. I didn't listen to anything my dad told me, and
he went to
was my
100
coach
worlds,
for a
didn't he?
while.
Yeah, and your dad.
Yeah, he went to
whatever
3-4 worlds, and didn't matter. I didn't listen to him very much either. So,
But
just
everybody,
Scott, except
Craig, everybody else will listen to Stevie. You know that, right?
yeah, exactly.
And Charlie doesn't listen to Tiger.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. This is my favorite question. You're going to a Bonspiel. It can be in any era, and it can be with any people in the whole world, dead or alive.
And it
Who's
doesn't
your
have
dream-
to be competitive. It doesn't. You can.
Who's
be
your
a-
dream team? Yeah, it doesn't have to be a competitive spiel. It can be a fun spiel.
Okay,
Who's your dream team?
no disrespect for Wayner, because I'd curl anywhere in the world for him, but Gretzky, Jordan, and Tiger.
Yeah, it's a good.
I
team.
just want to listen.
don't
to
want
the
any
story. I
curlers.
just want to listen to all the stories afterward.
You
I don't
can-
even care about the curling.
You could take Wayne along as your
Yep.
fifth,
Yeah.
and he'll just
I
make
think Wayne-
Caesars.
Wayne would want-
And
would wanna
Wayne
go-
would just make Caesars. That's
So-
all he has to do.
Who's
Can
skipping
you
funny
that
part-
team?
I was taking
imagine the
Tiger
story?
too.
Oh,
Who's
That's my
skipping that
three.
team?
Any curlers you can throw into that, Glenn?
Who did I always want to?
Well,
I've always like
himself, I guess
all
he
my
can call
sort of
curling.
like I've curled with Eddie, I've curled with Hackner. Never did want to curl with Rick Folk.
Got it.
Paul Gauzo would have been. Never did play with him. Played against him many a time. You guys, Craig would know of Paul Gauzo. The other guys, would you know of him? He was iconic back in the late '70s, early '80s.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
I've heard of him.
Look him up sometime. He was the bad boy of curling and so
Nice.
much fun.
Nice. Got it. I like that. That's a good team. That's a good team.
Yeah.
You skipping? You gonna skip?
Whatever Tiger tells me to do.
Nice. Got it. How about you,
Tiger
Wayne?
would be a tuck slider. I think Tiger. I'm taking Tiger. I think he's a tuck slider. Throws a lot of heaters.
Okay.
He's like a,
He's just busted up his legs. I got to wait 5 years
Well,
before he's ready.
He's got a bad back.
You can take like
Not a bad
2000 Tiger when he won everything.
okay.
You could take like 2000 Tiger if you want.
Yeah, you don't need 2021 Tiger. You can take 2001 Tiger or whatever, 1997 Tiger.
1993 Jordan and 86 Gretzky and oh my God,
There you go.
incredible!
You think
That's a
Gretzky
good
threw
team.
stones?
I do.
Good team.
He loved curling. Absolutely loved curling. All those hockey players, they love curling. They can't get
Nice.
enough of it.
You ever met
Then
Gretzky?
Mike-
Pardon me?
You ever met
Wayne?
Gretzky?
I have met Gretzky. I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
All
right.
right, Wayne. Who you got? Who you got, Wayne?
I couldn't narrow it down. There's literally, I'd like to take everybody I've ever won a world championship with.
Okay.
'Cause
well,
I've-
come on, Wayne. Take it easy, all right?
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people, but Glenn's in there twice.
Three-time WFC.
Glenn's in there
I
twice.
see the tweets.
There's so many stories and so many laughs and so much fun with all of them. Like, and all of them different eras. Like playing with Tetley and Bailey. Like, again, people don't think of them a lot, but I know you obviously do, Craig. But Tetley and Bailey and Cracks were, again, just a riot to play with. The last one with Saville and Lang. Saville is one of the funniest people you could ever meet in your life. And then even before playing with Russ and Glenn and Pete, like that would just be a riot to occur with. That's all. I could never just pick, but I'm going to go on the side of Glenn. I'd love to, Tiger and Gretzky and those guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, those are
It would be kind of cool though to throw
That's fair.
the Russ, Wayne, and Pete and I together to go do it one more time. Go play in a spiel somewhere.
Yeah.
Which
There
is
you go.
it's possible.
I like
Yeah.
it. Do it.
It's possible.
Do it.
All right, so we're calling you out.
Yeah.
So
We're going to
Curling-
Grindelwald. We're going to Grindelwald.
is calling you out.
Well,
We're
they
gonna
don't have
invite.
that spiel anymore, but if they
That's
did,
right.
I bet they'd have a
Yeah.
huge people.
We're gonna
They
invite
could have
you
a senior
down.
version and everybody'd show up from the 90s.
We're gonna invite you down to the Madison Curling Club Halloween spiel. We'll
Yeah, there you
billet
go.
you in a house, so you get to hang out with curlers.
Yep.
But y'all can curl together for
I
the
live 8 minutes
last
from the
ride.
curling club.
Yeah, Joel lives
Yeah.
8 minutes from the curling club, and he's got
Yep.
like 27 spare bedrooms. I live like
And he
4
makes
minutes
bacon.
from the curling club.
Boy, you know he makes bacon.
And
Yeah.
he makes
Oh, yeah.
bacon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joel's bacon.
Careful what you wish for. That might happen.
Yeah.
We're calling you out.
Hey.
We're calling
Hey,
you out.
Don't
Okay,
threaten,
Garrett.
don't
Never
threaten us
know.
with a good time.
Yeah.
We should, you know what though? We should billet them over at Hamilton's house. Matt Hamilton only lives like half a mile from the club. That'd be an experience over
might
at
have
that
to grow the
clown's
mustache
house.
And then,
Oh,
that
you
might
know,
be-
you know what the rule would be? If we win the spiel, Hamilton has to shave his head.
Oh,
Whoa!
you can
Whoa,
probably get
I'm
that
in.
done.
I'm
You
in.
can
Did you
probably-
see the flow he's got going there
Oh,
now?
he's got
It's
some
amazing.
great flow right now.
He's doing something for charity with
Yeah, he's
that. There
got
isn't
the-
money
It's
to
good for him.
shave his head.
Matt, he's a beauty.
Line
He's
there.
a good guy.
My
Okay.
friends Anna Hasselberg and Olgel, Oscar Erickson both stayed with Maddie's when they're playing the mixed doubles in a practice field. They have nothing but great things. They say he's the
He's
best
awesome.
guy to be around. Yeah, nothing but great things to say about him.
Yep.
Yep.
I used to play with Matt for quite a few years, and the first year that he ever played like Super League with me, he's still in juniors and he thinks he's hot shit, and he comes out and he's like he wears hat like sideways or with a flat brim and just like because he was a stupid kid. And like the very first day he walks out, like He comes on the ice. We're ready to play our game, and I look at him, and he's still a little intimidated by me at this point. And he looks at me, and I like shake my head. I said, "You put the hat on straight, or you take it off, or you just go home." And like I thought he was gonna shit his pants, and he like put it on straight, and I'm just trying not to like crack a smile and laugh at it, like ruin it. And so he puts it on straight, and he starts curling. And the very first shot he's playing lead. Very first shot of the very first game, he's throwing a center guard, and he comes screaming down the sheet. The guys are sweeping it, and he's like, hard, first game of the year, going nuts like it's for the world championship. One of my sweepers stands up and says, "That's enough of that. You will shut your mouth." So then, like, we never heard a word out of Matt for 5 weeks. And then I think he really fucking around with him, and morphed into the disaster that he is now. The beautiful disaster that he is now.
Good shit.
I got one real quick Matt story. We were playing in a little rinky-dink Bonspiel in northern Wisconsin. Some heavy hitters were there. I was with Donnie Henry, and I can't remember who else it was. Fifth end. His team was down at the other end of the ice trying to call a shot. Hamilton's playing lead. He's about 12, maybe 13. Comes skating down, no slider or no gripper, slides down, gets in the grills of the other two skips, says, "No, you need to play this, and this." He's like trying to coach him up and whatever. Donnie Henry looks at Matt, said, "Matt, turn your ass around and get the other end of the ice." Matt turns, slides down the other end.
That's twice he's been shot down.
He was
It's not stopping him now. He's still got lots to say.
Yeah.
He does have lots to say.
Oh, he's funny.
That's all right.
Funny
All right, we got one last question, and this is it's kind of an off the wall one.
It's an important one. Though.
It's an important one. Yeah, it's fun. So you guys watch baseball. If you guys had a walk-up song for whatever, coming out to play in the Brier championship, going out Friday night to mixed league, whatever. What's your walk-up song?
Pretty cheap. Go ahead, you go first.
Only because of our recent exhibition at the Brier and our team name at the Brier, I got to go with a little Steppenwolf, "Born to Be Wild."
Oh, good one.
Nice.
I like it.
But I hate to tell you this, I'm a huge Who fan, and I'm always going to pick "Who Are You" by the Who.
All right.
Just the beginning of that song is such a great riff just to get things going.
I like
Just
it.
for the intimidation factor, I'd like to do Queen, "We Are the Champions."
Oh,
We will rock you.
There's a big in your face.
That's in your face.
That's nice. Before the
that,
game
Matt
even
Hamilton.
starts.
Before the game even
you're
starts.
just announcing it before it even
Ouch.
starts.
I like it.
I like it. That's awesome.
All right, and one last one. Who you got for your sponsors?
Yeah, you
You
guys.
can mention
you
your
guys
sponsor
gotta-
of the show. Or
we got tens
Yeah.
of people that watch,
Yeah.
but there's probably hopefully
Or-
we'll get some more with the two of you guys on.
We have okay. So my team Glenn Howard. We had the beer store, which was my employer for 38 years, which is fantastic. They've supported us over the years. Another one is called VR Mechanical. It's Vic Rankin. It's a mechanical contracting company out of Toronto. Wayne and I are really good friends with the principals there. They're great guys, and they've supported curling. They've also not only they supported when Wayne and I played together, they now support Anna Hasselberg, and they also support John Epping. So
Nice.
they've been
That's
great supporters of curling. BrokerLink insurance company, Kathy L. Toon, an accounting firm, which is Tim March. Tim March, my lead, is an accountant, and that's his mother-in-law, and he works at that firm. JD Barnes is a surveying company that also has been supporting us over the years. Balance Plus. So Balance Plus Curling Supplies. Scott Taylor, Dale Matchett. I've used Balance Plus stuff since inception. I still think it's the best in the business. The shoes are bar none. they last me a lifetime. Scott Taylor's the only one that makes me change because he doesn't like the look of a worn shoe, but they last forever. Yeah. And they now have the best broom on the market. So it's I can't say enough about the Balance Plus and the boys, but and thanks for the plug, guys, because true story, and Wayne can attest to this. Without these sponsors over the years, they're hard to come by, and a lot of it ends up being word of mouth or friends and this sort of thing. But without them, we could not have curled where we did across the country over the years because we couldn't afford it. We had our day jobs, and we were never making a living at curling, and it was all the sponsorship money was able to allow us to get in the planes and go and enjoy the sport we did. So I can't thank them enough.
And that's I think it's a huge thing, Glenn, that a lot of people not in the curling world don't know, is that this isn't you win some big purses, but all this is out of pocket.
We're making a little more money now, but not much.
Well,
ironically, we talked about it earlier. You guys said, did you guys ever win 4 cars?
Yeah.
Well, no, we didn't, but we were playing for 4 cars back in the 70s and 80s. So it doesn't even matter what they're worth. Say they're worth $5,000. That's a $20,000 first prize.
Yeah.
You got to win a Grand Slam to win $20,000 in 2021. There's more of it. And you got to remember, you also divide that by 4, less expenses, blah, blah, blah. We're not making a living. So it's tough. There are some players that are professional curlers, but they're also getting funded from, their national bodies, their governments, whatever the case may be. Without that, unless you have that, you can't do it. And thank God for the sponsors we have. It's just, it allows us to play the game we love.
Wayne, you got anything?
So
anything?
I got a quick question.
Those are my sponsors.
Those are your sponsors. All right, attaboy. Yeah.
Hey, Glenn and Wayne, I got a quick question. So, the car spiels that were happening in the 80s and 70s and 80s, and there was some big spiels back then, and I agree, the purses haven't, with the exception of the Grand Slams,
right,
the purses are probably smaller at the big spiels than they used to be, because whatever, there's the few slams with the huge purses, but what were the entry fees in a car spiel?
They were lower.
$500.
They were lower too?
Oh yeah. When we got to $1,000 or $1,200, we thought, oh my God, this is getting out of hand. And we'd never seen anything like that. There was never those numbers. And you go back to the old hunt, we used to call the hunter spiels. It was $40,000 to win a hunter spiel. We were playing for those in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah. And we could fly around the
40
country.
for first, 40 for first, 20 for second, 10 for third, fourth, 5 to qualify.
Yeah.
You cannot find a spiel that good. A slam's what, $26,000 when you're said and done. But there is way more. There's more options now. You can find a half decent spiel every weekend. We didn't have that. We had to pick. We only had a handful along the way. But if you ever won those, we made more money back then than a lot of some of these teams are making today.
Actual winnings,
yeah.
Actual winnings.
Why do you think that is, Wayne and Glenn? Why do you think that is?
That's a good. Wayne, why do you answer that? Why is sponsorship money, like the Bonspiel sponsorship money, gone down?
But again, because the events have changed, right? So we used to show up in Saskatoon or Portage la Prairie, and the curling was almost secondary. They would have Calcuttas, and the guy who won the Calcutta would win $20,000 if he bought your team in the Calcutta. It was crazy. Yeah. And he'd buy your team in the Calcutta, then you'd win the spiel, and send you out for a $2,000 dinner. It was unbelievable. And there was the spiels were more of a community would come in and support the spiel, and there would be your 32 team triple, and you'd have your 8 teams that came in from somewhere in the country, your Kevin Martins, your Kerry Burtnick, Jeff Stoughton, Glenn Howard, Wayne Middaugh, blah, blah. We'd all be there. But then you'd have your 16 local teams. So they'd all have some flair, and a local team would do well, and somebody would buy them for $20, and they'd win $1,000 on them in the Calcutta. So there was a huge local interest. And while you were in these towns, everybody would come to the spiel, and it was just a riot to be part of them. It was so much fun to be part of them. But, it wasn't just the curlers, because all the curlers too, they would, after the game, they would go behind the glass and sit, and they would talk with the guy who bought them in the Calcutta, and they would talk to the other teams. And in Ontario, we still, like the Ottawa spiel, we would sit down and have a drink with the other team after the game. That does not happen anymore. It's just not part of the game anymore. Yeah. And I think that was all part of it. And local sponsors want to put their money in. So rather than have one big sponsor putting 20 grand in, you'd have 20 small sponsors putting $2,000 in. So you have that much more money at the end of the day. And again, they became a community event. And as soon as you get the entire community involved and going behind it, it's such a groundswell, you can't stop it. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the thing in the small towns. It's the thing to, that's the event of the, certainly of the weekend, but, maybe of the year.
You're right.
When those big spiels came to town. So.
And to your point, Craig, it was some of the smallest little dinky hamlets in Canada that we're going to. Like you go to Humboldt, Saskatchewan, or you go to Lloydminster, you go, they're not the biggest places on it, but they have some of the biggest spiels. Brooks, Alberta. The
last big one I was going to say was Brooks.
Brooks, Alberta was phenomenal. Great spiel. Middle of nowhere. Like I'm telling you,
I hated that place. I went 0 for 3. Hated Brooks.
Too soon?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like 11 years ago.
Well, guys, tell you what, Glenn, Wayne, we could probably have you on for another 2 hours, and we could tell stories. And I know we would probably all have a good time, but nobody would listen to our podcast because nobody has 3 hours to just devote to listening to a curling podcast. We'd love to have you on again. We really appreciate you coming on. Congratulations on the Brier. I know, like you said earlier, you wanted to win it, but I think the entire country, yours and ours, was raptured with your success. So
and Wayne, good luck at Worlds.
Yeah, Wayne, good luck. Yeah, good luck at Worlds. Coach and Team Hasselberg will watch for you. If you go out for a timeout, if you could give us like a bang biscuit or some sort of code that you're saying hi to us, that'd be great.
What you learned on Curling Nation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I learned this on Curling Nation. What we need to do here is, that'd be great. But
I learned how to put my meat in the Caesar.
Yes.
And rim it. Rim it a lot.
I don't know if I'd say that to the girls, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd say that to Anna and the team, but good luck.
Just tell them it means something different in English.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so,
right.
Listen, guys, thanks for having us. It's been a blast. And kudos to you guys, and congratulations. This is the sort of thing that I think our game needs. Obviously, your audience is probably more in the States, but I'm assuming it could be all over the world. But this is the type of thing that people get to know. You're going to have all kinds of different guests on and different stories, and it's all feel-good stuff, and it's about our wonderful sport of curling. And again, thank you guys for doing this sort of thing. I think it's great for our sport.
You bet. We appreciate it. So,
thanks, Glenn.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks again, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Curling Nation.
Cheers. Anytime.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good curling.
Be good.
All right, well, that does it for episode 14 of the Curling Nation podcast. That was a real banger. That was an absolute riot having Wayne Middaugh and Glenn Howard on. Those guys, I can't thank them enough for coming on the show. That was a lot of fun. Even though they're not USA curlers, we're still a curling podcast. And if you didn't watch the Brier because there wasn't any other curling on, well, you missed out. Go back and watch it on YouTube or something. So, again, thanks to Wayne the Wizard, as I like to call him. And Glenn, also the Wizard, apparently.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Two wizards on the show.
So if you wanted us to find other living legends to interview, email the show. You can email us at curlingnation@curlingnetwork.com. You can always get in touch with us on social media. Facebook and Twitter, we're at Curling Nation. Instagram, we're at The Curling Nation. If you want to give us a couple bucks, we can accept money at Venmo now, at Curling Nation. What's the other one? PayPal. We're at curlingnation@curlingnetwork.com. We have a Patreon page. But if you just want to watch the show, listen to the show, you can always listen. Check out your favorite podcatcher. We're out there somewhere. If you want to watch, check us out on YouTube. It's a good show to watch. You can learn how to make a Caesar. I mean, you can't go wrong. Again, thanks to alchemy.com, ALQIMI, for their continued sponsorship of the show and supporting curling. I don't think we have anything else. I mean, we'll probably, hopefully, episode 15 can hold a candle to this one. But for myself, Mike McDermid, Joel Dietz, Greg Brown, Garrett was back. He survived his Rona shot. That's all we got this week. Good curling, everybody. Out.